A very good evening to all of you, my dear students of class 10 ABC. As we all know that your result for class 9 has come, and some students are qualify, and while at the same time some students are not qualify. But still there is a chance for you, all of you people. You please keep on studying well. 100% you will able to qualify your examination, and you will able to come into class 10 ABC. Okay, so there is no matter of making sorrow, making grief at your failure. I request all of you to please have patience and start your preparation. Okay, so that we can come over our lacuna and we can be the part of class 10 ABC. Now, before 2 days, since last 2 days, I was unable to produce any video. Since yesterday only, not before that, I gave you one video. And in my last video, we were discussing about the political circumstances of Belgium and Sri Lanka. Okay, I've taught some points to you people, and I think we were in majoritarianism in Sri Lanka. We were discussing this issue that what was the majoritarianism in Sri Lanka. Majoritarianism. Sri Lanka emerged, and we are right now at page number 3. Okay, Sri Lanka emerged as independent country in 1948. The leader of the Sinhala community sought to secure dominance over government by the virtue of their majority. As a result, democratically earned government adopted a series of majoritarian measures to establish Sinhala supremacy. We have discussed this thing also, that Sri Lanka got its freedom in 1948, and after that Sinhala majority came into power, and it became a series that only the leader was from, the chief leader of the country used to be selected from Sinhala society only, and this stream is called majoritarian. Now the question will come, what do you mean by majoritarian? Means the ruling, a kind of ruling system in Sri Lanka in which Sinhala majority were being, Sinhala language spoke persons were majority in number, and they were given preference. They were given preference in all over the country while the people were being selected. So this thing is called, this kind of ruling system was called Sinhala supremacy or majoritarian system. In 1956, I have discussed this thing also, that how then Sinhala was became the national language and no other language was given any kind of preference. We will come to now page number 4, and I'll start with this passage also. The Sri Lankan Tamils launched parties and struggles. Tamil state. No, sorry. Okay. So we have to discuss this one. The distrust between the two communities. Page number 4. The distrust between the two communities turned into widespread conflict. It soon turned into a civil war. We have seen that how the benefits, how the interest of Tamil peoples were also, covered by Sinhala majority people. But later on, when Tamil people founded their own party and they started struggling against Sinhala majority people, then it was a condition of civil war in Sri Lanka that took place. As a result, thousands of people of both the communities have been killed. Many families were forced to leave the country as refugees, and many more lost their livelihood. You have read chapter number 1, economics textbook class 10, about Sri Lankan's excellent record of economic development, education and health. But the civil war caused a terrible setback to the social, cultural and economic life of the country. It ended in 2009. Now see, once when the civil war was conducted in Sri Lanka, then a country named Sri Lanka that was known for its development, that was known for its education system, that was known for its cultural value, was totally turned towards the backwardness, totally turned towards the drawback scenario, and But the civil wars caused a terrible setback to the social, cultural, and economic life of the country. And this civil wars brought the backwardness in the area of social life, in the area of cultural life, and in the area of economic life of Sri Lankan people. This cruel war, ended in 2009. Now we have seen one example in the form of majoritarianism. Now we will see another example in the form of accommodation in Belgium. Okay, so accommodation in Belgium. Now we will discuss this thing. We are discussing this thing. The Belgium leaders took a different path. They recognized the existence of regional differences and cultural diversities. Now, see, Belgium, if you compare the condition of Sri Lanka and Belgium, then we will discuss that in Sri Lanka, after the independence, singly majority leader leaded the whole country. Uh, they monopolied the whole country into a single power, into a single society, into a single nation. All kind of reservation preferences was given to only single peoples, while Tamil and other society were being neglected. But in Belgium it was not so. There was also, if we calculate, then in Belgium, Dutch people were there about 40%. Then 59% people were German, is that one Christian, and 1% people, French spoken person was 59, Dutch spoken persons was 40, and 1% people were German speakers. The Belgium leaders took a different path. They recognized the existence of regional differences and cultural diversities. Between 1970 and 1993, they amended their constitution 4 times so as to work out an arrangement that would enable everyone to live together within the same country. Now, from 1970 to 1993, between these 23 years, within these 23 years, the government of Belgium made a kind of change, or made some constitutional amendment 4 times. For what? For the security of the rights of all the people, for the security of the rights of every citizen of Belgium. Okay, so that anyone, each one would enable everyone to live together within the country. The arrangement they work out in different from any other country and is very innovative. Here are some the elements of Belgian model. Now underline this Belgian model. Underline this Belgian model. Okay. Now in glossary we will see civil war, a violent conflict between opposing groups within a country that becomes so intense that it appears like a war. This definition can be asked in one mark question. What do you mean by civil war? So a violent conflict between opposing groups within a country that becomes so intense that it appears like a war is called civil war. Now we come to Belgian model. Constitution prescribes that the number of Dutch and French speaking ministers shall be equal in the central government. Underline this point. According to the constitution of Belgium, it was mentioned that it doesn't matter how many percent are speaking which language, but Dutch and French speaking ministers shall be equal in number in central government. As I said that there were three types of government: one central government, second state government, and third community government. Apart from that, one Brussels government was also there. So Dutch and French speaking ministers shall be equal in the central government. Some special law required the support of majority of members from each linguistic group. Apart from that, some special laws require the support of majority of members from each linguistic group. Thus, no single community can make decision unilaterally. Okay, unilateral means from own from the wish of the same stream thinking people, from the wish of the same thinking people. Okay, so no, only one language community could not make any kind of change in the constitution. it took a lot of the participation of all the subgroups to make any change. Then second point, many parts of the central government have been given to state government of the two regions of the country. The state governments are not subordinate to the central government. Okay, many parts of the central government have been given to state government. Now see that this compare this situation with our circumstances also. We will find that many parts of the central government have been given to state government in Belgium. Okay, in the same way we can think that in India there are also three type of governments. Again I say the vertical division of powers. Then we will see central government, state government, and local self government. So India, what will happen, various kind of parts are there. So out of those parts, many parts of the central government have been given to state government. Okay, of the two regions of the country, various kind of, we have list system. Union list, then state list, then third list also. In first list, union list, there are some subject on which central government will work. Second second list, that is called state list, and in which what we will find, some rights have been given to only to states, central can't interfere it. And the third is concurrent list, that that list both, such a kind of subject have been mentioned in which both central and state government can make its law. But if there is some kind of conflict, or what should I say, some kind of opposition that is found among both the laws, then the laws that is made by central government is acceptable. Okay, and many parts of the central government have been given to the states government of the two regions of the country. The state government are not subordinate to the central government. Underline this point, important one. The third, Brussels has a separate government in which both the communities have equal representation. The third point, Brussels has its own government, that Brussels has separate government in which both the communities have been given equal representation. The French speaking people accepted the equal representation in Brussels because the Dutch speaking community has accepted equal representation in the central government. Now see, there is a kind of agreement in central government. Dutch people, if we see, there are two circumstances. The language speaking person in Brussels particularly, that is different. The language speaking percentage in the whole Belgium, that is different. You will only understand the difference when you will know the percentage difference. The percent of speaking several kind of language in Brussels is different. The percent of speaking several kind of language in Belgium, that is different. In central government we find, in all over the country, what do you find, that that Dutch speaking people are more in number, but particularly in Brussels, French speaking persons are more in number. So they accept it. Suppose that in central level Dutch speakers are a lot, but if they wanted, they could have just do the Sinhalese work. They did not accept the representation of French in their rights, in their organization, in their cabinet, and they would have neglected them. But no, they did not follow the policy of these people. What did they follow? They followed the policy of common people. They followed the policy of accommodation. They followed the policy of satisfaction. So that is why they were being given preference, and they accepted the rights of French people in central government. In the same way, in Brussels, French were majority in number. French speakers were majority in number. Then what did they do? They accepted the representation of Dutch people. So by such a kind of accommodation, the whole nation was unified. But it was not happen the same. It did not take place in the same way in Sri Lanka. What happened there? Singly people, they were majority in number, so they totally neglected the other communities. They did not try to understand what are the needs, what are the demands of other communities, and they totally worked for the interest, for the welfare of their own community only. So that is why there was a civil war. Brussels has a separate government in which both the communities have equal representation. The French, the French-speaking people accepted equal representation in Brussels because the Dutch-speaking community has accepted the equal representation in central government. Then what is the later on? What kind of solution is this? I am glad our constitution does not say which minister will come from which community. 100%. Now see the Indian community. In India, there is no barrier of language, whether you speak Tamil, Odishi, Bengali, Hindi, English, Gujarati, Marathi, any language you speak, but no representation, no preference will be given on the basis of language. In India, there is regional politics. In India, there is caste politics. In India, there is democratic politics. So, according to fair rule and regulation, according to constitution, we select a, we select a party that is majority in status, majority in number, gathering number of seats. So we offer that party to make a government, and then it depends upon the member of the party to form a cabinet, and every party has its own personal strategy to clear that which from which area who will be the minister, and how many ministers will be from the same area or some other area also. So in such a way central government works, in such same way state government works. There is no in India particularly, if I talk, there is no barrier of any language, there is no representation of any language. But in our country we respect all the languages, we respect all the communities, and on the basis of the majority in the number of seats, that has been accepted in the number of seats. So on that basis we offer a party to make its government, and to select its leader from several kind of society, from several kind of language speaking communities, and from several areas. So in India, what do you find? We find the politics of regionalism, the politics of regionism, the politics of casteism, the politics of democracy, the politics of corruption also. So we find all these things in Indian people. Okay. So now we come to the further point. Apart from the central and the state government, there is a third kind of government, that is called community government, is elected by the people belonging to one language community. Now the third level of area, language. The third level of government was community government. Now I'll come in the comparison later on, but what I would like to say, just listen. Apart from central and state government, there is a third kind of government, that is called community government. In Belgium, community government is only found in Belgium. So they are having third kind of government, third level of government, that is community government. And community government is the government of a particular speaking, of such a kind of people who are speaking a specific language. Suppose that on some place German is spoken a lot, so there will be German community government. On the particular place French is spoken a lot, so there will be French community government. On a particular place Dutch is spoken a lot, then there will be Dutch community government. Okay. So these are the this is the third form of government in Belgium, that is called community government, is elected by the people belonging to one language community, Dutch, French and German speaking, no matter where they live. This government has the power regarding cultural, educational and language related issues. Now one more point. Suppose a person is living in another side of country of Belgium, and in some a person is living on the west side, he is a German speaker, and he lives on the west side of Belgium, but a community government, a community election is conducted on the very east side. Then that person has all the right to cast his vote in the favor of his community. Now underline this thing, this is a very important change, we don't find it over here. In our country, if a person is living in West Bengal, he is Hindu by religion, then if and he is a Hindi speaker by he speaks Hindi, and if an election is taking place in Tamil Nadu, then he will be given no preference to cast his vote on the basis of language. But in Belgium, if this condition was same, then the person living in Bengal would have been given a chance to cast his vote in the favor of his party, in the favor of his language in Tamil Nadu election also. So this was the change. Now read the line. No matter where they live. It means if they are German speaking person, they will cast their vote in the favor of German community government. Once the community government election were held, everybody, all the people of the whole country were given a chance to cast their vote in favor of their specific language, okay, in which they speak. So that is called community government. There is no barrier of state, there is no barrier of religion, there is no barrier of, I mean, region, you know, area. Okay, no barrier. It doesn't matter where you are living. But once election is conducted, then you are totally authorized to cast your vote in favor of your language. That is called community government. And what was the role of community government? This government has the power regarding cultural, education, and language related issue. Okay, this kind of government has a power regarding cultural, educational, and language related issue. You might find the Belgian model very complicated. It indeed is a very complicated even for people living in Belgium, but these arrangements have worked well so far. They help to avoid civic strike between the two major communities and a possible division of the country on linguistic lines. Now, due to this kind of system, the Belgium have totally avoided a, a possible civil war in Belgium that would have take place on the on the name of language. If Belgium had not accepted such a kind of model, Belgian model, then the whole country would have been divided into two parts. One German speaking, I mean that one French speaking persons, and second one was, I mean, Dutch speaking language, Dutch speaking, Dutch language speaking people. The whole country would have been divided into two parts, but Belgium was able to just sort out this problem because it took its own path, a specific path, that was the policy of accommodation, or that was the Belgian model. Due to that, Germany was able to, Belgium was total able to avoid such a problem. Okay, this government has the power regarding culture, that is completed, but the arrangement have worked well so far. They help us to avoid civic strike between the two major communities as a possible division of the country on linguistic lines. When many countries of Europeans came together to form the European Union, Brussels was chosen as its headquarters. Now underline, please underline, there is a very beautiful picture also, European Parliament in Brussels, Belgium. Okay, so when many countries of Europe came together to form the European Union, Brussels was chosen as its headquarters. Finally, many countries were, when European Union was formed, then Brussels was chosen as its headquarters. Now, what is your homework? That is sufficient for today. We will discuss later on. Now, your homework is write a short note of 10 points on European Union. Write a short note of 10 points on European Union. Okay, you just take the help of internet and write a short note on European Union. Okay, of 7, 8, 10 points approximate. Okay, and apart from that thing, what is your second homework? Start solving your exercise of first paper. Start solving your exercise of first paper and submit it to me in on WhatsApp or in Google e-classroom. Wherever you get a chance, submit it to me on WhatsApp or in Google e-classroom. What should I say? Start solving your exercise of this first chapter and submit it to me. Okay, so this is your homework, a short homework that you have to write a note on European Union of 10 points, and second, start solving your exercise of first chapter and submit it to me. Okay, so thanks a lot. Be safe, be inside, and we'll meet in next audio session. Thank you for joining me. All the best.